New York Police Department is saying that it's not just migrants and these gangs, it's the migrants recruiting children that are committing the majority of the violent crimes in New York City as well as Times Square. Check it out.
The NYPD is investigating a string of armed robberies targeting people in Times Square. They say nearly 24 young immigrants are behind the brazen crime, some as young as 11 years old, and their ages, police say, allow these suspects to get away with it. They stay out of jail and then keep terrorizing New Yorkers and tourists alike. Eyewitness News reporter Lauren Glassberg live in Times Square with more on this story. Lauren.
Well, David, the NYPD says that this is really a gang of very young people, and they have committed some 50 robberies. Some of them are even armed robberies. And we understand that the police first targeted them in Central Park, but now they have targeted this area, Times Square, as their playground.
They're reckless and as ruthless of a crew as we've seen.
And they're young, some as young as 11 years old. Police say they first targeted Central Park this summer, and now Times Square is their playground.
When you look at this group, core group of 20 individuals, this is their ground zero.
So you telling me that a gang of roughly 20 people, and y'all have known about them for months, y'all have not been able to round them up and get them up out of here, get them deported? 11-year-olds, they was over there in Central Park and now they robbing people in Times Square. You ain't safe in Times Square as a tourist in New York?
Assistant Chief of Detectives Jason Savino focuses on gangs, and this gang, he says, is made up of asylum seekers being housed at the Roosevelt Hotel.
Asylum seekers. And they live at the Roosevelt Hotel. Jesus Christ. I might have to do a whole segment on this for the Anton Daniels channel. I thought that this was just going to be quick hits. They live at the Roosevelt Hotel, the migrant headquarters in New York. The ones that's getting maximum rent for payouts and getting rich off of New York City, off of y'all taxpayers. And they taking pictures and they putting it on Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok.
For a subset of the gang, trend Aragua and self-identify as Los Diablos, or the Little Devils of 42nd Street, and they even post about their crimes, which have escalated.
It started with snatches, and then you saw Wolfpack type robberies, where you'd see numerous individuals surrounding unsuspected tourists, frightening them, and then taking their properties. That graduated certainly into knives, and then ultimately we even had gunpoint robberies committed by this young crew.
I'll just kind of be like this, holding more towards the front, almost like a baby.
Anastasia Tucker always stays vigilant when she walks through Times Square, and news of this gang will ensure she continues to do so.
I mean, as a New Yorker, you should be, just kind of comes with the territory. But I think more police on foot also helps a better presence.
A deterrent.
Yes.
Police say they are using drones, covert techniques, and uniformed officers to find these offenders, but the big appeal is to the judges.
The DA is making recommendations that just aren't adhered to. We have to look at our judges and make them more accountable.
And when I tell y'all, literally, that when you voting down ballot, you can select your judges. Voting don't matter. Voting don't matter. It's not going to count. You literally determine who's going to be the people that let in and let out criminals and whether they're going to work with the police department to keep you safe. And you're not listening. You know you can vote for your judges. It is on, at least here in Michigan, in my county, it is available for us to vote on our judges. I'll cover this story a little bit more in depth on the Anton Daniels channel. In addition to that, now I want to preface this by saying that the details of this story is a little bit disturbing. I was hearing Rita listen to it on TikTok yesterday, and then somebody sent it to me in my email today. And this is a woman that is describing her situationship with Diddy, and they're saying that he raped her as revenge for saying that he was involved in Tupac's death. Check it out.
Tonight, developing news and the growing lawsuits and allegations against hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Now, one woman is accusing him of a sexual assault here in the Bay Area. The new suit was filed in just the past 24 hours. ABC 7 News reporter Luz Pena has the details. We do need to warn you the allegations are triggering.
In disturbing detail, the latest civil lawsuit against rapper Sean Diddy Combs breaks down a horrific scene inside an Orinda apartment in 2018.
Very savage gang rape.
A woman claims to have met Diddy over FaceTime in 2018 after running into one of his friends at a bar. During that conversation, her attorney said the woman made a comment that upset the rapper.
Told Mr. Combs she believed he had something to do with Tupac's murder, so she wasn't interested or impressed with seeing him.
The lawsuit says a month later, Diddy's friend allegedly set her up to be raped by Diddy in Orinda, where she said she was drugged and threatened with a knife. And Diddy said she would pay for his statements about Tupac during the video call. The lawsuit says that while violently raping the woman, the rapper told her her life was in his hands and that if he wanted, he would take her and she would never be seen again. According to her attorney, the woman was raped by other men as well. And despite being drugged, she was able to escape. On her way out, telling Diddy she did not party with him and did not enjoy partying with him and that he raped her. The lawsuit claims neighbors in the area called police.
Contra Costa sheriff came out to the neighbor's home at the time of the incident because several police reports several 911 calls allegedly were made.
According to the lawsuit, several weeks after the rape, the accuser went to the hospital because she was still in pain. The lawsuit claims hospital personnel called Walnut Creek police, who took a statement from the accuser. This time, she said she did not want to name Diddy. She says she was afraid that she wouldn't be believed and that later on, the rapper would harm her. We contacted Walnut Creek and Orinda police departments and have not heard back. The woman's attorney saying law enforcement agencies refused to hand over the police reports.
That's disturbing in and of itself. Her team needs this information.
Despite a number of new allegations of rape and sexual assaults from 1995 to 2021 against the rapper, legal analyst Stephen Clark is urging for these allegations to be investigated independently.
Was this individual treated like a sexual assault victim, or was she treated as someone that was not credible?
Like a groupie is basically what they're saying. So those are the allegations. I can't tell you whether they're true or not because I don't know. But apparently there's a lawsuit pending, not a criminal suit, but a lawsuit as a result of her trying to get damages for her pain and suffering. And then last but not least, even more disturbing than that, because this is a person that was able to get away and fly out of the country. And so he did what Russell Simmons did and not what Diddy did. Check it out.
A local child therapist is arrested for child pornography, but police say he managed to escape the U.S. Today, Fox 13 Seattle is looking at how the suspect slipped through the cracks so easily.
The details we're uncovering are frustrating and concerning. Fox 13's A.J. Janival reports what went wrong from the airport.
Documents that I obtained show law enforcement stopped that suspect, Yu Ling, for a brief moment here at the airport, but those records show Port of Seattle police let the accused child sexual exploiter go due to confusion over red tape. Port of Seattle police was on scene and declined detention of the subject due to a lack of a warrant. A one-sentence answer as to why a man accused of peddling in the misery of sexually abused children is now free.
We believe that they absolutely could have arrested him, and we were under the belief that they would have because they didn't need a warrant.
Probable cause documents I obtained show 26-year-old Yu Ling, who went by Bruce, worked as a family and child therapist. According to the documents, Ling was employed with Valley City's behavioral health care. Ling claimed in that role he collaborated with schools, DCYF, CPS, and Seattle Children's Hospital.
Extremely disturbing allegations.
Hold on, wait. Let me read this real quick. It says, extensive experience in serving multi-system involved children with severe behavioral problems and developmental disabilities during my tenure at Valley Cities. That's crazy.
CPS, and Seattle Children's Hospital.
Extremely disturbing allegations.
Police discovered dozens of images of child pornography in a computer file alongside a file for his cover letter for an application to Seattle Children's Hospital.
That's just so awful when you read the details in those court documents.
Ling bonded out of jail with possibly as little as $7,500 out of his own pocket. He then somehow acquired an illegal passport, and despite Homeland Security flagging his planned escape and King County Sheriff notifying the Port of Seattle Police to make an arrest, which documents say they agreed to do, officers at the airport let Ling board a flight to China.
What he could have been arrested on were two things. One is attempted bail jumping for trying to board that flight. The other is not following court orders by getting that passport and trying to get on the flight.
I spoke to officials with the Port of Seattle Police Department who tell me they have to have probable cause or a warrant to make an arrest. They say they're not sure if they had that at the time.
Probable cause is they flag you and realize that you're trying to take a flight to China or wherever it is that he went, to a place that you can't extradite. So another one bites the nut, another one bites the dust, another one slips through the cracks, and he's avoided jail and prosecution, and he will live the rest of his life in a completely different country. And this dude was able to get an illegal passport, bond out of jail. Jesus Christ.